parents, non-parents going through a struggle, but still trying to hold your family together. And sometimes it may be a personal struggle, it may be a struggle in the society, in culture. I mean, struggles all around. And yet, so you're trying to build a home that feels meaningful, that feels intentional. If this is you, if you're here, you're a parent, you're a teacher, or you're just someone who is interested in building a meaningful home, I bet you are going to enjoy this interview. Stay to the end and hear from this amazing author that we have here today. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to ask Edwina to just introduce herself to all of us. I've known Edwina for, oh goodness, it's been a couple of years now. Goodness,
It has
goodness.
been.
Yes, it has been, but I'm going to let her introduce herself first, and then I'll kind of bring in how we met and just dig into our story and into our interview and into this amazing, amazing conversation. So, welcome so much, Edwina Perkins, and congratulations on this incredible book. Please
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself to us.
Well, I live in North Carolina, and I got involved in the publishing industry. And in 2018, that doesn't mean I was writing or I wasn't writing before then, because I was. But I'm the co-director of the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference, which is the largest Christian writers conference in the nation. And we have a huge conference coming up in a couple of weeks called
Oh,
the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference. And it's the 50th anniversary. So that's why I'm
wow.
really excited about that. Uh,
Wow.
I am I'm on the board with Word Weavers International. We met at a conference led by Word Weavers in Florida Christian
Yes.
Writers Conference.
Yes.
And I help with ECPA, Evangelical Christian Writers Conference, and I teach and minister to a lot of conferences every year. Which my heart is to see those marginalized voices published, get their voices heard. And recently, Hannarich, you don't know this, but I'm now the founder of Harambe Creative Consulting, where I offer all the editing and coaching and all of my expertise
Oh,
in one
oh.
location. Because I feel like people need to understand the whole craft of writing.
Mm, mm,
And since I
mm,
was working with you and was publishing under Harambe Press, I realized there's too many authors who don't have the whole picture.
mm.
And that's really my heart, is to provide for that.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
so that's just the tip of the iceberg of what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.
Thank you so much, Edwina. I mean, I think this is God who led you to go into consulting. Because guys, like she said, like Edwina said, I met Edwina when I was a new author, and she gave me a chance, an opportunity when a lot of other established traditional publishers would be like, you don't have experience, you don't have an audience, we're gonna pass you over. We're not even gonna look at your craft, the craft of writing a
Mhm.
great story, a great book. And Edwina gave me that opportunity. And our book went and won the Henry Award. And it's been such a blessing, continue to be a blessing to so many people all over the world. And what a blessing, what a privilege if Edwina hadn't said yes to me. So, Edwina, thank you officially. If I've never said it, thank you so much for saying yes to me. And if you're on here, you want to be a writer, or you know anyone who wants to be a writer but has no idea where to start from, please get in touch with Edwina Perkins on all social media. We're gonna put all her contacts, her links in the description. You have to meet this one. She is incredible. I mean, I have worked with her from beginning to end. She is a gem. But let's go into your book. It's an amazing story. Okay, so the very first question I want to ask you: what is your heart, and what is the story behind this story? Right? Why did you choose to write a story that was so real? I love it because it's so raw. It's like a mirror of life. It's not an imaginary story.
Mhm.
It's so real. The intricacies, the details. It's beautiful. But share with us your heart behind the story. And If you're online, you have any questions for Edwina, please drop it in the chat and we will read the questions. Hello, Vivian, welcome. Thank you. Please share this video. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Edwina, please share with us your hearts behind the story, The Colors of Home.
The Colors of Home came about when, before I met you, I was writing with primarily people of color, their story, their struggle. But I was told the marketing, they had no idea where to market it. And so when I started thinking about this new book, because I've got what I call my shelf babies, when I started thinking about this new book, I was thinking, what are some struggles
Mm,
that we as African Americans deal with?
mm.
And the emotional side of Ebony comes from me and some of the things I've dealt with. And so
Oh,
I moved her from Colorado to small town North Carolina. I grew up in small town North Carolina. I knew a lot of what I was taking her into, and I wanted her to understand, what can home mean? Um, and what are her expectations? So it came from that. I feel like Ebony could be my sister, um,
oh.
because of all the things that I feel like we share.
I love it. So now this speaks volumes to me because now I see why it's so real. Why it's not. It has no imaginary in it. It's so real because you have basically almost lived that experience. You've lived that journey. That is
Mhm.
amazing. What is her happiness? Someone is saying, "What is your happiness, Edwina?"
What is my happiness? Overall, I have two the most beautiful grandkids, and
Oh,
anyone can argue with me on that. Um, that is my happiness.
I love
But
it.
when I think of even the writing community, my happiness is helping writers launch,
Mm,
watching them soar and
mm,
fly and become
mm.
all that God has created them to do.
My
And that has
goodness.
been my drumbeat. I have advocated for people of color to have their books published.
Mhm,
I have advocated for publishing houses
mm.
to open up their doors of leadership. And when I see these things happen, that's part of my happiness.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
and I
Praise
also
God.
like chocolate chip ice cream.
I love it. I love ice cream. Me too. But yo, I hope Vivian, I hope this answer is good with you. You said what is a happiness? Hello, Kelsey or Selvi. Thank you all for joining us. Please share. Let's invite more people. But I'm living proof of Edwina's I'm living proof of Edwina's happiness. Like I am one of her happiness stories. I'm evidence that her passion to see people of color get published and soar because of that opportunity, that single opportunity of saying yes to me, I became published. My book won an award. I've gone on to speak, and I'm doing all these amazing things because she
Mhm.
said yes, because she helped me launch. So, y'all, I am living proof. So definitely get in touch with Edwina's R&B Consulting. I love it. Now, Edwina, back to the story of Colors of Home. I love Ebony, and when she was moving, when she was on the trip with her children, we don't want to give out too much because we don't want to spoil the book for you. But at the same time, we're going to try to go around it so we can also have a very good conversation about the book. But so Ebony moved, and on that trip where she's heading home, and oh, we're going to talk about that too. But she's heading home to the city called Home, and she's just lost her husband. Oh my goodness, Michael, and she's going through all these things with her three kids. Oh, there's so much happening, and that is so real to life, right? There's always so much happening in life. And then she hears the song, and I don't want to miss it. This is what the song said: God has never let me down. God has never let me down. And it's almost so funny because it's like, God, are you just kidding me right now? You have let me down. My husband died. I'm going through all these things. And the song is saying, God has never let me down. I do not please speak to
Mhm.
that. That moment right there. I mean, oh my gosh.
Well, Ebony is struggling with her faith. She's lost her husband. She basically lost her house. She had and you're going to have to read the book to get this information, but there were
Yes.
legal issues with her son Owen.
Mm.
And it ended up being a total misunderstanding. But when she's hit boom, 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 and she's going into a town where her father-in-law does not like her. So when this is one of her daughter's favorite songs, and she's going, God, are you really? I mean, you're telling me you're not letting me down. I'm moving my three children across the country. I'm dealing with grief. I'm dealing with confusion over what happened to my son. And I also have a special needs little girl
Mm.
who needs me more than ever. But she
Mm.
is the one who brings a different perspective to
Mm.
everything that's going on.
Mm. Mm.
And you mentioned home. Now, in case you're wondering, home is not a real place, but in North Carolina, there's a town called Welcome, and that's a
Oh,
real place. So I took home and put it on the other side of Welcome, so that you have to go through Welcome to get to home. And what do you hear there? Welcome home.
wow. That is surreal. I love it, Edwina. Wow. So there is a place called Welcome, and you put that
Yes.
twist on it, home. And I think I want to ask this question. Oh, well, Vivian, I hope I'm saying your name right. Vivian has a question here. Before I ask my question, I'm going to read what Vivian is saying, Edwina. So Vivian
Okay.
is saying, I'm a burned out teacher who has a background in computer science, math, and engineering with
Mhm.
problem navigation as a focus. But I was asking about the book, The Character's Happiness. Hmm. I'm autistic and I love this story. Okay, so we can't tell you all of everything about the book, right, Edwina? But we're gonna give
No.
you. I'll let you answer, Edwina.
So the happiness of the book, as far as writing, or something happy in the book?
Okay, so please clarify that for us, Vivian, and we'll get back to you. But let's get back to the story and the conversation. So Edwina, and this is the use of irony is just it's so powerful because they are going home and it doesn't feel like home, right?
Mhm.
And I want to ask that question. And there's a lot of people out there who may have a home, but that home does not feel like a home. So please talk about the use of that ironic, how you're like, we're going home and home is not home. So how do you make a home that is not home become a home? I mean, this is amazing, Edwina.
Well, in every book there's a backstory. Not all backstories get in the book.
Mm,
So one of the backstories, because you mentioned she had lost her husband Michael. Well, she has reflections about him throughout the book. And there was one that's part of the backstory. He is dying of leukemia. And just before he dies, she has gone to visit him in the hospital. Um, Actually, it was probably a little bit before, because she had wheeled him in his wheelchair outside to like a little garden area. And they're sitting there and she's just staring at the hospital. And Michael says, Ebony, what's wrong? She says, I'm tired of this. I want you to come home. I want our home to be normal.
oh,
And he wraps his arms around her, his weak arms, and he says, Ebony, home is not four walls. It's when people wrap their arms around you when you're hurting the most.
mm,
And so that's the
mm,
root, excuse
mm,
me, of where
mm,
I'm going, is
mm,
for Ebony to find home. And she's looking at all the exterior things that are going on.
mm,
But what she needs to realize is it's not four walls.
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. This is, I love this, Edwina. Oh my goodness. And there's so many people who have all the embellishments of a home. They have maybe a beautiful home filled with beautiful stuff, everything, right? But the
Hmm.
people in that home do not feel like they're home. They don't feel like they have the arms of a weak Michael wrapped around them. I mean, that right there is home. It's not the location. It's not. And I remember when my husband and I, before we got married, I told him, because I had come from a background of single. My mom is a single mom, and that was because my dad had left, to anyway, she had traveled abroad and he never came back. So after the age of about 6, I never saw my dad till now. I don't know where my dad is. And we just went through so much. So I told my husband, I don't care where home is, so long as we're together. If it's under the sea in the desert, like so long as it's the two of us together, that right there is home to me. And I feel like that's what Michael, I want to tear up. That's what Michael told Ebony right there. That it's not that they're in a hospital and they're going through all these things, but that human being, that feeling of belonging, of knowing that you are cared and loved for, of just being present, that is home. That is so beautiful, Edwina. I love it so much. Thank you so much. And I think we have more questions. Should I pick it, or I can continue? I also want to just kind of go over a little bit. You spoke about one of Ebony's sons, and we're not going to go into all of it because we want you to read the book. Look, this summer, this is a book you have to read this summer, and I think teenagers can't even read it, right? I think even a teen can read it. In fact,
Oh,
I even
oh,
think yeah.
oh, I
What
was going to say,
ages would you recommend?
absolutely.
Yeah, what
I
ages would
would
you
say
recommend?
looking at like the new adult or 18, now down to 13, they can read it because
I
it
was
deals with
thinking, I was
real
thinking,
emotions.
yeah.
It deals with, because you've got these three kids who are trying to figure out life as well.
Mm,
And they're going through a change of moving from what they know to what they don't know. And how many kids today are dealing with that? And
mm,
they need an opportunity to talk about how they're feeling.
mm,
And even in The Colors of Home, Ebony fights to get them to open up and share.
mm-hmm,
But yet she's like trying to hold the family together,
mm-hmm.
and there's some stuff going on. And I
Yeah.
want kids to realize that, yes, there can be stuff going on in your life, but you don't have to shut down.
Mm,
You can reach out, even if it's to a parent that you're like, okay, I just need to let you know I'm going through stuff.
mm,
Um, we one of our youngest has been going through some things. And I went to him just to talk. And I could tell he was really hurting. And he wasn't totally ready to open up. And this is what I want parents to understand. I asked him, may I give you a hug? And he said, no. I did not take it as rejection. I took it as he's trying to work through
mm,
what's going on.
mm,
And that comes across in the book. Ebony's trying to give them space to work, but at the same time, she's struggling to be a mom.
mhm,
And these two older kids are on the verge of manhood.
mm,
And without a husband, she's like, what does this look like? And then the youngest one, who Destiny is a delight. And there is an importance with her name as well. Because when you look at the name Destiny and where they're going, are they going to their destiny?
mm.
Um, See, there's
Oh,
a lot of things like
wow.
that in the book. Um,
Wow.
and so, yeah, that's it. It's for young adults. It's for, I mean, if you know a kid that's struggling or they've now lost a parent, and they need to work through some of that emotion, I think the book offers that as well.
I love it. I love it, Edwina. And you're so right. It's young adults. It's definitely adults. Like every adult, this should be the top on your summer reading list. And we're gonna talk about this, about the loss. I don't want to say the loss of reading, but how people are no longer reading and enjoying stories the way we used to. And there's a latest research that is indicating that human beings in this generation, we're talking less than we used to in previous generations. So in previous generations, people were having more conversations, people were talking more, but now people are not talking more. And so this, like you said with your son, and even with Ebony with her kids, what's happening? And this story, like, I want to encourage you. And I'm a mom, and my kids are really young, but I realize that when I read even adult books to them, and this I really want to encourage, if you're parents out there this summer, I highly recommend you to read with your kids. This is a book that even if your kids cannot read, you can read with them and discuss some of the issues in the book. Like, this is another dimension to this. That's what I do with my kids. For books that are bigger books that they really can't read, I still read to them and then we discuss. And it's amazing. You will be surprised the insights that those little kids have. So I really want to encourage all parents out there this summer, make this one of your summer reading list books and read with your kids. Um, I want to continue, Edwina, with this. Um, you know how the Bible, and we are Christians, and so we always will go back to the Bible. And Vivian, I'll come back to your question. Please hold on, I will be back. But the Bible tells us in Deuteronomy that we should talk to our children about the Word of God. We should sit with them in the house, on the streets, wherever we're walking. But because we are not reading ourselves, now our children are not even having that opportunity to share with us, to communicate and have conversations with us. So, what would you say, Edwina, to a parent out there who is like, I haven't read a book in, I can't even remember when or how long ago, but where does that parent even start from? First for themselves, and then for their children, and then for young adults. Like, where do they start from? Because now there's so much going on. There's so many distractions that I don't even want to talk about. We all know it. Just so many screen distractions all over. But we know that it's in the art of reading and telling meaningful stories and having meaningful conversations. That's where life truly is formed. That's what home truly is. It's not just a house filled with beautiful stuff and everyone is just doing their stuff, but that connection. So, Adrina, please speak to that. Where do they begin from if they haven't read a book in God knows how long? Where do they even start from?
Start from where your interests are. You have so many people who are into sports. Now, here's what's funny. A couple of years ago, I got into football. My kids thought, but in the words of my daughter, she was talking to me and she said, "What did you do with my mother?" Um, I was like, "I'm not sure, but I just got into football." Um, and they think it's hysterical. And, I'm a Ravens fan. Um, and anyway, I would say start with something you love and start with smaller books. There is nothing wrong with an adult reading a children's book. There is
Yeah,
nothing wrong with an adult reading a YA book.
yeah.
Um, don't jump off and go, "Oh, I'm going to read this 300-page novel," because you won't. Um, so start with something you love or start with something your kids love. And
Mm,
with technology today, your kids may mention soccer. Use the technology.
yeah.
Go on, find books about soccer,
Mm,
and then go to the library. Or nowadays, you can just order a book from the library and they'll ship
mhm,
it to you.
yeah.
Um, so start small is what I would say. And
Mm,
when your kids start seeing you read something, they're going to want to read. But if you're
mm,
going, "Well, I don't want to start reading by myself," well, then read it together with your child.
yeah.
Um, where do they start? Ask their kids what their interests are.
Mm,
And if they know, start there. Um,
mhm,
and don't give them a hard time. Because if they're interested in something that you're not, start there.
yeah.
Uh, and then you'll develop your own interest.
Yeah, yeah, I love that, Edwin, and I love that you said an adults can read children's books. I mean, what I heard somewhere a quote, I can't remember where, but it said that a good children's book is a book that adults enjoy reading too, because before the kids can read, we read to them. So if we're not enjoying it, that isn't really a good children's book. So I love that, and it starts with their interest. So if they're interested in cars, in sports, do the
Mhm,
research. There's so many books available on cars and different things. Use technology available to us. I totally love that, Edwina. That is
mhm,
super. I love it. And for also, Edwina, people who are no longer like, people are like, okay, now do we even need to write? Because I mean, technology can literally like write for us, right? Why is writing still important? Why is it still important for people to not only read, but also to continue writing? Why do we still have to write? If technology can do all the writing for us, why do we still have to write? And I mean, like Colors of Home, your book is, I feel like it's such a classic example. Like you can clearly tell that it's human, that you wrote it from your heart. It's relatable. It's not a picture perfect book. I mean, I just love that book. And I'm talking too much because I want you to go read it yourself and just enjoy it as much as I have. So, why should we still write? Why is it important?
All right. So when I first thought about why should we write, I thought, why do we need to write by hand? Um, it slows you down. It makes you think. And even if it's not a letter, something you're going to send, it's like journaling. And sometimes
Mhm.
it's just writing a note to yourself, but have that ability to keep writing in that regards. Because not
Mhm.
everyone's going to say, well, I want to write a story. And I'm like, you're right. Not everybody does want to write a story,
Yeah.
but you should learn or continue to write. I know we went to school learning to write, and the younger generation is going, well, I went to school and learned on a computer. Take
Typing.
time. Yeah, take time to write.
Mhm.
Even if it's just a quick thank you. When our kids were younger and they would get Christmas gifts, I wouldn't let them play with them until they wrote a thank you card.
Oh, I love that.
Let me
Wow.
tell you, they were motivated.
Oh
When they
yeah.
see that toy sitting to the side, and they're like, okay, that came from grandma. Let me write a thank you note.
I love that. I love that.
And so commit to doing something like that.
Mhm.
If Start with doodling, but do something with your hands,
Mm.
and don't always go to the keyboard. Is what
Mhm.
I would say when it comes to writing. So don't feel like you're going, "Oh my gosh, I'm not a writer. I can't write a story." You can do some of these other things.
Yeah.
Um, I will sit with my granddaughter who she's like, "My handwriting's atrocious." And I look at it and go, "You write like me, dear girl." Um, but and I love what her mom does. She writes, and my grandson will write like Happy Mother's Day or something
Mhm.
to their grandfather. And Sunday, I got two cards from the kids. Now, I totally understood what my granddaughter wrote, but I had to stop and think about what my grandson wrote, and he was so creative. And so, of course, she chimed in, well, you can't read it. And I'm like,
Ooh.
give me a moment. And then I read it, and I raised an eyebrow at her, like, well, if you can't read it, I sure can.
Yeah, I get it. I read it. I get it. Oh, I
So
love it.
little things like that. If someone
Mm.
encourages you, just a simple thank you for encouraging me and
Mhm.
writing it out, it makes a difference because
Mhm.
people aren't used to seeing handwritten anything these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. 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 That is so true, Edwina. And that is what makes us human. I love what you just said. I mean, and this is where our joys and our happiness is. Just like you said, um, there's a research, and you can go and find out more about the research later if you're watching. But there's, I think it's the longest running research in history, and I think they started with people. I can't remember how far back, but it's a Harvard University research, and they were researching what makes people happy, like the signs of happiness in life. And so they followed different individuals from various backgrounds, rich people, poor people, people with opportunities, people in the suburbs, just all kinds of people. They started with them when they were just young adults before they got married. And so they kind of followed along with them. And most of them, some are dead, but most of them like in their 80s. And the research is still going on. They have different managers managing it and all that. But this is what they said they found out that the clearest predicator of a happy and a healthy life was not money, it was not success, it was not fame, because most of these people had gotten married, had money, lost it, just they've gone through life, and yet now they are so old. And every time they interview them, I think every couple of 5 or 3 or so years, they interview them, And it always pointed back to close relationships. I mean,
Mhm.
just like what you said. I mean, I could just picture, because I also had my kids write me all sorts of letters and cards on Mother's Day. Some that I could read, some that I couldn't read, right? But those moments, like just cherishing those moments, just being in the present and cherishing those moments of writing those notes to our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, those human connections. That is what makes for a happy life. It wasn't about what we had or what they didn't have in that research. I'm gonna put the link in their description as well. You can check it out. But we really want to encourage everyone on here today that, you know, building a happy life, building a home that feels meaningful and intentional and it's enjoyable. It's not about the stuff. Because Ebony, back to our story, didn't have the stuff that she was, all the outward stuff she was looking to, she didn't have it.
Mhm.
But she was going home, and she home took on a different meaning to her. And we don't want to spoil it because we want you to read it and be like, oh, I trust me, you're gonna be Owen and I on the story, and you're gonna even shed a few tears like I did. I mean, it's a beautiful story. So this summer, this should be on your summer list. Buy this as a friend, read as a group together with your, team up and read with
Mhm.
people and discuss it. And it's remarkable. And even if you're a Christian, and even for your church, and like, you don't only it's great that we have the Bible, we have devotions, and we have all these things, but sometimes it's also good to read stories like this and relate it back to life into the Bible and still see the goodness of God, or the different things that we can find in the colors of home. So that this is a beautiful book. It's a remarkable book. Thank you for writing it. And I hope there'll be many more books to come. Um,
There are.
I'm
Oh.
gonna read Vivian's. I think this is what Vivian is saying. How the main character looking for her happiness. Okay, I'm getting is she's looking for her home, her happiness. Yes, the process to allowing yourself to feel welcome. I like that. I like that. So what you're saying is answering the question. Thank you. Oh, okay. They don't feel the happiness. Okay. So he said you answered the question. Thank you so much for that, Vivian. So Edwina, before we go, I know we kind of have been all over, but if you could challenge families with one thing, just one thing, after reading your book, what would that one thing be? Just one thing.
Communicate. One of the things, I, the reason I wrote the book is not so someone would read it and go, "Oh, that's a good story," and put it down.
Mm-mm,
But I want them to communicate
mm,
after reading the book. There's some heavy issues in there,
yeah.
and especially anybody, but with people of color, you're going to see some things that you may or may not relate to,
Mm-hmm,
but you need to have these discussions with your kids.
mm-hmm,
And it's not just a book for people of color. It's a book for anyone that I want them to come together with people outside of their culture and say, let's talk about this.
mm-hmm,
In the back of the book are suggested questions for you to talk about. There's suggestions for
mm-hmm,
how to have a book club.
mm-hmm,
And I think it's a club that could be of all ages because of all the things that it's touched on in the book. So communication would be the one thing because that is what I see lacking sometimes
mm-hmm.
are the younger generation and the older generation not communicating. And that would be my heart with this book.
I love it. Spot on, Edwina. And are you available if, let's say, a book club wanted to have you maybe speak to them, speak to their, their book club, their group? Are you available, to speak?
Yes, I'm totally
Awesome.
available.
Awesome.
Because remember, my heart is to help writers.
Mm,
But what do writers do? They communicate.
mm.
And so I'm totally open to that.
I love it. I love it, Edwina. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, for taking the time. I know you're so busy, so much going on. But thank you for taking the time to join us on here today. And before you leave, I want us to pray. Please pray for families, for individuals, for families that may be going through just all sorts of things like Ebony was going through, but are still trying to build a meaningful, intentional home. Please pray for all these
Mhm.
families and pray that the art of being living a meaningful life, of savoring the present, of enjoying the little things, of feeling welcome and being at home, all of that will just be reignited in the hearts of parents and families all over the world. And we know that we have audiences not just in the US, even in Africa and Europe, all over the world. So please pray for families all over the world.
I will, but before I do, because you asked people if I'm available,
Mm.
well, the way to get a hold of me
Oh
is
yeah.
edwinaperkins.com. And
Okay.
people are like, how do you spell that? EDWINAPERKINS.com. And
Mm.
they'll take you to my website and you can reach out and say, hey, I want to get in touch with you. And I would love to hear from people like that.
I love that.
So
And
let
I'm
me pray.
gonna, before you
Oh, go
pray,
ahead.
Edwina, yeah, I'm gonna definitely have the book is on Amazon. The link is gonna be in the description of this video. So it's gonna be in the link. The website is going to be in the link. Her social media handles are gonna be in the link. So just go to the description of this video. You'll find all that you need about Edwina, how to get in touch with her, how to book her, how to just even message her on social media. Let her know, hey, I listened to this interview and I love it. Or if you have any question, whatever it is, she's very open to us. So please reach out to Edwina. Thank you for that, Edwina.
Okay. Well, let
Yes.
me pray.
Okay.
Father, thank you so much just for who you are. Thank you
Mm.
that you give us a definition of what home really is.
Yes,
And it
Lord.
is not here. This is not our final home. But I
Yes.
pray that as we navigate as parents, as students, married, single,
Mm.
um, widowed, widowers, like that was a
Yeah.
bunch,
Mm.
um, that you will be with us
Mm.
and help us to communicate, help
Mm.
us to talk with one another, not talk at each other,
Mm.
and give us that peace of in our hearts, show us how to find home. In
Mm.
Jesus' name, I pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Edwina. Thank you all for joining us. Please share this video. Please like, please subscribe. And most importantly, get your copy of The Colors of Home this summer and let us know, tag us, and let us know you're enjoying this book. God bless you all. God bless your homes. Thank you, Edwina. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.